Do you think couples ought to schedule sex to maintain the spark in their relationship? 0207 862 2222, that's the number. Do give me a ring. I'm asking because world-renowned sex therapist Esther Perel has written in the Telegraph today that we should respect couples who do schedule sex and that more couples should be doing exactly that. She says couples who plan their sex lives, who make a ritual of it, are prioritising sex and putting effort into it. She says that is how you keep your sex life alive. Do you agree with her? Do you think that is the way to keep the romance in your relationship going? Maybe you already do it. I'd love to know what you think. Do get in touch. Let's start with Darryl, married, baby, scheduling sex. Yeah. Is it something you would do, could do, or have done?
Well, firstly, thrilled to be talking about this on the television. Thanks so much.
It's a pleasure. I'm so glad you're enjoying it.
Come on, let's hear it.
If there was any doubt, Mum, now's the time to turn off. Okay. Life is busy, isn't it? It's really, really busy, and there are all sorts of pulls and pressures and difficult things. And I think this actually is just the sort of reality of life for a lot of people. Yeah. And I was thinking about this. I was thinking about, I think sometimes if you sort of hang around waiting for the perfect conditions to appear, they never will. I think at some point in your life,
I'm just going to ignore the phrase "hang around." I'm just going to ignore it. I'm very mature and I'm a grown-up, and I would never draw attention to it. So I'm just going to.
There was no way through this, was there? Without something like that happened.
Isn't it sort of like date night then? Sort of saying, kind of thing, let's have a date night. That is another word for sex tonight.
I think my husband will think I was absolutely bonkers if I said, right, we're scheduling in time for this. He'll be like, Sarah, are you absolutely mad? It's all about being natural, spontaneous, keeping that spark alive. And it's not like, school run, scheduling sex, dinner time. It feels a bit, static.
Well, take out the rubbish, do the laundry, defrost the freezer, lag the loft, have sex. Yeah. I mean, it's sexy and spontaneous. But I suppose the idea behind it is, Jo, that you can sort of get your sex life lost in the minutiae of life. You're busy doing stuff.
I can understand it,
Yeah, and it's on the back burner and it never gets put to the front burner, that thing.
Yeah, I've never scheduled sex myself.
Yeah.
But I think I had sort of, I don't know, it just never was like that for me. But I can understand busy parents having, let's make time for us. That's really it, isn't it?
I think the thing is that I keep thinking, is that good? Because you think, tonight's the night, the sexy night. Oh, OK, gosh, OK, I'm looking forward to Wednesday. That's going to be great. Is it that? Or do you think, oh, no, not Wednesday again. Oh, damn, I just can't work out whether it's really a help because it kind of reminds you and prioritises, as Esther Perel says, or whether it's like a horrible doom-laden burden hovering over your whole week. And I don't really know the answer. But I suppose this is a bit of a vulgar phrase. You'll forgive me, lovely viewers, for using it. But is it a bit this kind of use it or lose it? If you don't have any sex, you sort of forget why you were meant to be having it in the first place. You don't remember how much fun it actually can be once you get going on it. If you don't get going at all.
I think that's true. And I think it's a physiological experience, right? And so once it sort of starts.
We keep using these words. You kept clinical. You kept talking about physiological. This is because your mum's watching and you want to turn it into a biology lesson.
Exactly right. I want to take myself away from this conversation.
Just want to say hi to Darryl's mum. Very, very nice that you're watching. I like your boy. You've done a good job with him. Don't judge him. For him to have sex, it means you get grandchildren. It's all good. It's all good. There's a wonderful payoff. Jo thinks a date night is a good idea.
I think it's date nights. That's a sort of word for it.
So it kind of will probably end up in the boudoir, but it doesn't have to.
A couple of glasses of wine.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. Relax.
Yeah.
Could be like quality time, isn't it? Scheduling time for quality time.
Do you do that with your husband?
It's hard with 3 kids, 3 boys, but we do find the time occasionally and just, laugh together. If it's watching Netflix, if it's an occasional date, if we can do a festival or something cool. But, I think it's important. Intimacy can mean lots of different things.
And you're not sitting there on the date chomping into the prawn cocktail thinking, this means we have to have sex later. Oh, no. Oh, gosh, let's eat this really, really slowly and hope that he falls asleep in the taxi on the way home or something like that. You're not doing that. And if you do, you're not going to say so on the television.
There you
are you?
go.
Definitely.
Don't give that away.
No, do you ever actually schedule in? Have you ever done that? Anything that disciplined?
I think you're right about sort of. Thank you so much for the question. I appreciate it. I think you're right about the sort of date night thing and sort of seeing where it goes. I think the thing is, the reality is that you can lose yourself. You can lose your relationship, can't you?
Yes.
In the sort of cut and thrust of
Yeah, you have
family
to
life.
make time for each other. I think
this
that's
is what
very
this is
important.
about, isn't
Yeah.
it? That you can be so busy with the sort of nuts and bolts of life. Who's dropping off the children? Can you get the gym kit sorted out? What about they're meant to be making a delivery, you've got to be here, and you're so kind of busy with all of that stuff that you forget that you ever fancied each other. You forget that it was meant to be a sort of romantic relationship, and it becomes a kind of administrative relationship. In fact, you can be more tender to the people at work than with your other half because you're so stressed.
You sort of become colleagues, don't you?
Yeah.
You also become colleagues in the production of life.
Very well said. That's exactly it. And you don't want to be married to a colleague, do you? Really? I mean, you don't want it to be like that. No. So okay, let's talk to Maria in Portsmouth. She knows everything. She's an excellent caller. Maria, I'm always pleased to hear that it's you on the line. What do you think?
Vanessa, I'm just going to make it as simple as this.
Okay.
I'm not booking in sex. I've got better things to do with booking in my time slots for things, and sex isn't one of them.
So what have you got to do that's more fun than sex, that makes you feel more healthy than sex, that kind of lights your fire better than sex? What is it that you're prioritising, Maria?
Okay, Vanessa, I'm prioritising you and watching you.
Oh, well, that is a very sensible decision. I don't want to think of anybody who might be having sex instead of watching me. I would like everyone to be watching me and then to go and have sex. Only then, only once they've finished watching the show. But Maria, when you think about it, though, do you think that it is a sensible thing to do in view of the fact that people can sort of forget they even had a spark eventually?
When you start making your relationship into a diary constantly, and important things like intimacy should be where you're just enjoying each other's company at that time and that moment, and it develops onto it, rather than one side might feel pressured they've got to do it, rather than want to do it.
I mean, I get you, but I'm still not sure. And I'm hardly ever on the fence on anything. I'm really not. I normally know exactly what I think. But this, I'm just not sure, because I could see that it could seem, as Darryl keeps saying, clinical. There it is. It's in my diary for, the 14th at 4:15 p.m. Gosh, it's like a dental appointment. There's nothing less sexy than that, Maria, is there, than that? But on the other hand, I can see that if you don't write it down, it might not be there at all. It might not feature. And that's also not good, Maria, is it? Over to you, Maria.
Vanessa, it's very simple. You've got your partner with you in that evening that you're spending that quality, important time together. That's what is the important thing. And if you then can gradually then go and have your sex and do all that, absolutely wonderful. But there are occasions that one side of the party might not want it. And how about we just enjoy spending quality time communicating with each other and just enjoying that side, and then have sex another day?
Not at all a bad idea. This communicating thing, though, is sometimes tougher than it sounds, Sarah, isn't it? You think it would be the naturalist thing in the world to communicate with your husband, but sometimes you find you haven't communicated a damn thing.
I know, like who's picking up the kids, for example.
No, but I mean your real thoughts, your actual feelings and emotions.
That's why it's so important to schedule in time together. It's so important to do that. The idea of scheduling sex, for me, is a bit of a turn-off, because where's the rock and roll in that? We used to go, partying, the rock and roll life, Joe,
Spontaneous.
That's right, yeah. And when I got married, the father was like, yes, make lots of babies, that's what you need to do, And that's what, sex is for. But, it's good to have fun, but keep the spark alive when you're married, but don't schedule it.
I'm not sure, Darryl.
My feeling is that all of these things disappear. They are the last thing that you think of. They are the thing that sort of falls off the bottom of the list, unless you're a bit more regimented about it and you're a bit stricter about it.
Yeah.
And I think we're talking about. Marie makes a really interesting point about sort of keeping your relationship alive and expressing how you feel about each other. And I think a lack of intimacy in a relationship isn't always an expression of how you feel about each other. You can get a couple of months down the line and think, gosh, we haven't had any quality time, we haven't been out, we haven't, and that doesn't mean you love that person less. It just means that other stuff got in the way.
Absolutely. And just slightly off at a tangent, but just to be honest and give a bit of an honesty check here, Joe.
Yeah.
Joe and I were just saying earlier, when you find yourself suddenly single, it's a real difficult thing when you're on a date with someone and you're trying to think, could I possibly fancy you? Could I? Could I? And the answer is no, I couldn't. It's deadly, isn't it?
See, I think you have to find somebody you have that spark with. It's really true, isn't it?
Yes.
Once you have that spark with somebody, then everything else is easy.
But when
But
you don't...
it has to be a personality and... I don't know.
There has to be a certain something that makes, if you're a woman, makes you feel female.
Yeah.
And lots of blokes are not very good at doing that. They just don't seem to have that kind of, that thing, that repartee, that sort of, I don't know what it is, the look, the smile.
That oomph.
The oomph.
Yeah,
The oomph. Or
it's
as
the
Boris
oomph.
Johnson would say, the va-va-voom. He loves all that. They va-va-voom. They haven't seemed to... I mean, maybe they probably feel exactly the same about me. I'm not saying that I drive them wild with lust, but maybe, I don't know. Anyway...